everyone, and welcome back, and thank you for tuning in again live today. It is Monday, March 10th. It is noon here on the East Coast of the U.S. And thank you for watching Skill Building Monday Drawing Group here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And welcome to Guy Aitchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams, real-world events, to share and inspire and ultimately create better art and tattoos together. We beam out nearly every day, and with your help have evolved into a quality network of amazing live and on-demand tattoo and art shows that have all been receiving rave reviews. You can find Reinventing the Tattoo at www.reinventingthetattoo.com, where you can try it out for free. There's no obligation to get a subscription, although you will be missing out on a lot of great benefits from it. We do offer 3 options for you to try it out. First option is to take a sample webinar from the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon, where you get to go through and get a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to actually have a full Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. Or option number 2, you can go through and get some free advice from Guy Aitchison about your unique goals. Goals maybe you have in mind, ways to accomplish them, maybe things that you hadn't quite thought about taking a look at. And the third option is to go through and take a comprehensive tattoo history course from Jay Brown. And I will tell you this, for fellow tattoo history nerds such as myself, the tattoo history course from Jay Brown is absolutely incredible. Highly recommend it. It's extremely comprehensive and goes into all types of details that you will only get from industry experts. While at reinventingthetattoo.com, you can find a full event schedule with full weekly and special event live stream details. For example, if you wanted to jump into today's show, you could easily go through to the event area at reinventingthetattoo.com. Pull up the events calendar, and you can find live links to all of the upcoming live broadcasts that we have here on the network. You also have access to the Reinventing 24/7 channel, which has about 13 different episodes playing at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that is available on all web-enabled devices, also available through reinventingthetattoo.com. We do offer a whole host of professional development courses from over 20 world-class tattoo artists such as Bob Tyrell and BJ Betts, Andre Malcolm, and a whole lot more, all available for purchase at reinventingthetattoo.com. You can find us in both of the app stores, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, as well as our Reinventing the Tattoo YouTube channel, our Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel, which has 12 to 15 different episodes going at any given time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and is available on all Roku-enabled devices. Perfect for the front of your studio, or if you have a TV at your station, you can always throw that right on through any Roku-enabled device. You can also find us at all of the major podcast directories, such as Apple and Spotify, or you can do what most people do and just pull up your web browser, do a quick search for Reinventing the Tattoo, you'll find it all. Except for the book, which is out of print, and you can only really find copies of it for sale on eBay and occasionally maybe Facebook Marketplace. Or if you know the right Instagram pages to go to, you might be able to find a copy there as well. If this is working for you, please let us know in the comments in the chat, and please tag a friend who loves tattoos. We are always interested in getting more people involved in these shows, so tag everyone you might know. We do have a couple of shows that we always encourage people to tune into, starting off at noon on Mondays with this show, which is the Skill Building Day Drawing Group with me, Jason Leeser, where we get to go through and work on different skills and talk about different aspects of the tattoo industry and really try to help develop and build some of those skills up. I know skills are just another tool in our toolbox, but if those tools aren't ready to go, you won't be able to use them. So I always encourage people to tune into this show, and this is going to be every Monday at noon here on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Following this show at 9 p.m., we have a subscribers exclusive drawing group with Sandy McAndrew and Guy Aitchison from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. That is only available for people that have a subscription to the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. It is included with all of the second and third upper tier subscriptions, such as the Reinventing the Tattoo Evolution subscription or the Reinventing the Tattoo Canon subscription. You can also just get a subscription for the Monday evening drawing groups. I can tell you from firsthand experience, it is absolutely worth every penny. If you look at the work I started out doing before I joined Reinventing the Tattoo and the work that I'm doing now, you'll notice a remarkable difference in the quality of work that I'm putting out. So I can honestly tell you without a doubt, it is absolutely worth it. Following this show following Monday evening show on Wednesdays at noon, we have the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, where we get to go through and do a deep dive into all things business related in the tattoo industry, whether that's travel visas or marketing and advertising. Maybe it's dealing with taxes or, trying to balance your monthly budget. All of that and a whole lot more, that's all available during the Tattoo Now show with Gabe Ripley, Wednesdays at noon. We do have a very special event coming up, and that is going to be the Hell City Tattoo Convention coming up, and that is May 2nd through 4th. May the 4th be with you. And that is going to be one of the country's top tier, most exclusive shows to be at. It has got featured artists such as Paul Booth and John Clue. Gunner will be there, Travis Brown, Renee Little, Ron Earhart, D-Rock, Nick Mitchell from Loose Screw Tattoo, Nico Perez, Pony Lawson, Pepe Carrere, Fast Alley, Ty McEwen, Devin Cooley, Seth Mushrush, and of course yours truly. We will all be in attendance and we will all be there tattooing live in front of you. If you want to get an appointment, now is the time to do so. Please go through and book your appointments now. You can check their social media pages or head right over to Hell City Tattoo Convention on the web, and you can book an appointment through clicking on the artist link located there. Okay, and next I'd like to thank some of our sponsors, some of the people that make these shows happen, starting off with WorldTattooEvents.com, the largest, most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. They're constantly keeping everything updated. As we know, living in a post-pandemic era, there are still tattoo events and conventions that are getting rescheduled. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest, most comprehensive tattoo event or convention information coming to a city or town near you, or maybe you're planning on booking a vacation, you want to see if there are any tattoo conventions going on in that area, take a look at worldtattooevents.com and you will not be disappointed. Would also like to thank TattooNow.com, technology for tattooers, the leading edge in professional development, management, and digital tools for tattoo artists of all levels. They're 100% competitive with any type of CRM, mailing list, or scheduling software out there. So if you really want to get the digital tools that will help you streamline your booking process, to help you get more clients through the door that really want to get the kind of work that you really want to do, take a look at TattooNow.com. They've been an industry leader in doing just that for over 20 years. We'd also like to thank Guy Aitchison over at GuyAitchison.com. He is the founder and inspiration behind Reinventing the Tattoo. You can go to GuyAitchison.com where you can pick up a copy of his Biomech Encyclopedia, some of his tutorial DVDs. He's got countless fine art prints and the occasional oil painting, all for sale at GuyAitchison.com. Would also like to say a very special and quick thank you to Tattoos.social. Tattoos.social is the #1 place to go. Hold on, let me pull up the QR code. There we go. The #1 place to go to find like-minded and welcoming community without all the drama and negativity that you find on other social media tattoo communities. So if you're really looking for a way to go through and network with some of your peers, some of your colleagues, to really ask some questions in a very open and friendly atmosphere, take a look at Tattoos.social. They combine Fireside Tattoo Network, Reinventing the Tattoo, and the Paradise Tattoo Gathering, and a whole lot more, all available on one platform, Tattoos.social. I would also like to say a very quick thank you and shout out to Amy Nichols over at the Apprenticeship Diaries podcast. The Apprenticeship Diaries podcast is a free podcast hosted by Amy, and it is my number one resource to tell people to go through and listen. If they have any questions about what a tattoo apprenticeship is like, or if they are looking for more information on what it's like to be a tattoo apprentice. As always, we ask that if you like today's show, please go through, help us out, leave a comment on the channel. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. That way you can stay up to date with all of the latest upcoming shows here live on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. If you would like to host a Reinventing the Tattoo event, become a sponsor of our community, or if you are looking for a fine art or a tattoo critique, you can always email management at reinventingthetattoo.com. We will get back to you just as soon as we can. That kind of wraps up today's intro. And I did want to touch on something today, something that I don't really know a whole lot of people have ever discussed or thought about or anything of that nature, and that is Flash, right? Tattoo Flash, the old school design sheets people used to have tacked up in these racks on the wall. You would go through and you'd pick like a B37, and that'd be the really killer skull with the rose that you saw your homie get, and it looked, super awesome on them. Or maybe you want to go with like an F-18, maybe you go like an eagle ripping through the skin with an American flag in the background. Those are all known as Tattoo Flash designs. Those are designs that are distributed or were distributed out to multiple studios across the country, across the world, where people could go through, and it was a standardized set of designs that came with line drawings. People could go in and get a design, and be able to see it completely rendered. They're available. Boom, there you go. What it was. Now, the reason I bring up Tattoo Flash is because I've got a couple of conventions coming up, and I myself have been working on some new Tattoo Flash designs. Granted, my designs do not get distributed across the world. My designs are one-off designs that only I have, that only I am willing to tattoo. These are designs of images that I love to tattoo and that I really want to tattoo. I try to create new designs every year to bring with me to all of these new tattoo conventions. This way I can go through and kind of market myself, show people the kind of work that I really want to do. That's not to say that I'm not willing to do other tattoos while I'm there. I'm always down for the occasional walk up. Or if someone wants to book an appointment with me in advance, great. I'll be happy to something drawn up for them in advance. But the designs that I bring with me, that I have printed out, taped up, set, and ready to go, those are typically the designs I try to stick to at the conventions. There's a number of reasons behind this. The first reason is time, right? Time is the only thing we can't purchase more of, we can't get more of, we can't steal it, we can't buy it. Time is a finite resource in our lives. Time is also equal to money. Okay? The time I spend sitting down with someone to draw up their custom tattoo at a convention is time that I could be spending tattooing someone else, right? The way that you look at it is not only am I trying to get new clients, which means tattooing as many people as I can there, but I'm also trying to do designs that I'm really excited for, I really want to do, and that I'm going to put in some extra effort into, even if it goes beyond the time that I thought it would take, or, maybe I go and I work a little bit outside of, their budget, but I still charge them the same price, kind of kick myself in the butt for it later. But these are all designs I know I'm going to have fun doing that are really going to showcase the type of artwork that I really want to do more of. Okay? I'm a huge fan of people that show up to a convention that have tons of original designs that they really want to get done, that, they're just absolutely going to rock the house on, that are completely unique and original. It showcases them as an artist. It showcases what they want. So you can go through, if you see a guy that has a table filled with skulls and dark imagery, maybe you don't want to go to them for a neo-trad design, because even though they could execute really well, chances that they're going to be pumped to do it, not so much. Plus, that's something they would have to get drawn out, and maybe they don't have the time for that. So this is all just convention philosophy. I also enjoy coming up with new, small, one-shot designs that I've pinned up at my studio, right? This way, people, while they're sitting down, maybe you're working on an American flag and bald eagle tattoo on them, the whole time they can spend staring at these original designs that you came up with. Maybe they see something that they like. Once you get finished with that tattoo, now they want to go through and they want to get a tattoo that they saw that you had pinned up on your board, that you drew up, that no one else has, that they really fell in love with. It's a way to go through and really help keep the clientele rolling in, and it allows you to do more of the work that you really want to do. Okay? Now, here's the downside to that. A lot of these drawings in advance, sometimes they take, 20, 30 hours to come up with some of these designs. From initial sketch to the planning to the execution to the fully rendered version. Maybe you do a black and gray version as well. That's very easy to do in Procreate these days, but whatever. Um, but some people put in a lot of time in these designs. Just because they are smaller designs does not necessarily mean you have to charge less for them. If it's an extremely intricate, smaller design, it's going to take you just as long as a much bigger, more simple design. Keep that in mind. Okay? Time is money. Not only that, but the amount of time that you really pour into creating these designs that are truly unique, that really kind of show what it is you want to create, well, that is a reflection of you. You're pouring hours into creating these designs. That's time. It's time when you could be spending drawing something for someone else or doing something for someone else where you could be making money, right? So make sure that you factor that in when you price out these flash designs at a convention, or if you have them hanging up at your studio. Make sure that you factor in the time that it took you to create these original designs. Now, I try to stick to those designs when I'm working at a convention, and the reason being is because I have everything prepared for that design. I already have the line drawing done. Okay, I already have, my value reference sheet set and ready to go. All I have to do is print it in the stencil, slap it on, and tattoo. Okay, that's time I don't have to spend drawing something unique for someone else. Right? That's money in my pocket at a convention where you're only at the show for 3 days. 2 of those days are shorter days. Fridays, usually shorter. Doors don't typically open until the afternoon, and they typically go until maybe 11 o'clock. And Sundays are shorter days. Maybe doors open a little earlier, but typically you tend to wrap up around maybe 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So you're looking at 2 shorter days and then 1 full day in the middle. I do not like to book appointments on Saturdays. Saturdays at tattoo conventions are the days when you get the most tattoos. The most interest in people coming in to get tattooed will happen on a Saturday. Why? Because tattoo conventions are fun. They're a blast, right? Where else can you go to see tons of tattoo artists rocking out, creating amazing work all in one place? And you get to go through and you get to shop and say, oh, hey, I really like the rose that you did here, but I like that guy's rose better, so I'm going to go get tattooed by that guy, right? You get to pick and choose who you go to. Maybe you get exposure to new artists. Maybe it's artists that are from another country. You might not ever have the opportunity to get tattooed by again. Go get tattooed by them. Why not? You're there, right? And they're there. And I don't know the next time you're going to go to their country. So get a small tattoo. And that's why I always try to recommend anyone that's out there that works at conventions carry a boatload of designs we do in different sizes. I won't print out a design to tattoo on someone at a show that's any bigger than maybe letter paper size. Right? And that's pushing it because you have to tattoo that tattoo unless it's a local person and you're at a local convention. Otherwise, you have to do that whole tattoo start to finish, right? Paper size could very easily take you all day, depending on the rate at which you work, right? Now, that being said, you have to factor that in. Letter paper size tattoo that I'm doing at a convention, I know it's going to take me probably 6 hours, right? Which means if it's 6 o'clock at night and I know the doors to the show end at 11, well, I'm probably not going to be able to get that person in for that design, right? Because I'm pushing it at that point. So typically speaking, have a whole bunch of different designs, whole bunch of different things available from small little, 3x4s or 2.5 inch by 4 inch designs to all the. I try not to tattoo anything bigger at a show than like a half a page of letter paper. I will go as big as letter paper at some points, but typically I try to keep it much smaller than that. Usually 4x6, 5x7s sometimes. Um, Lately, I've been trying to focus more on creating a whole bunch of 3x5s. Once again, very quick, very easy, simple, one shot. I know I can knock it out in one sitting, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's not going to be detrimental to me. So that's something that I always like to explain to people. That's why I bring a ton of different designs. I print them all out in color too. Make sure that you have a color version there for people that want to get a colorful tattoo. If you only show people black and gray work, they will assume that you only do black and gray work. If you want to do more color work, show them color work. Very easily. They can go through and say, oh, this guy likes doing color, and I really like the colors that he has on his designs, so I'm going to go to this guy. This guy's designs are cool, but like maybe the color's not that appealing. Maybe it's a bit more dull or washed out. Eh, but this guy's colors are nice and vibrant. I want to go with those, right? Because I know that if he's putting the time into that and he's going to make those colors vibrant, he's not just printing them out at home on a piece of letter paper using his, little $100 inkjet printer. If this guy's really putting time into creating these designs, getting printed the right way to present them at a convention, they're going to take the time and put that same effort into my tattoo. All right? This is all happening subconsciously in convention goers' minds. I know. I've attended a ton of conventions. I've attended probably more than I've worked at because I started attending conventions in the early 2000s. So for me, it's like I've been in the convention game for over 20 years, either attending or working at them. And this is advice that I have picked up. And looking back at my experiences at these conventions, these are some of the things that I have found that can be really helpful. That being said, we're going to move on to today's stitching, and that is going to be working on a little 3x5 design that I am going to start working on. I always like to keep my smaller designs a bit more framed out. This way, they're like self-contained little works of art. Other people prefer not to frame them out, and that's totally fine. It's just something that I've really kind of started enjoying, is just creating kind of like little frames around them. And I'm not talking like square boxy frames. I'm talking like, maybe I'll start up here. I'll create like a little bell jar kind of top. Maybe I'll bring this in almost like a lantern. just getting an idea for like what it could look like. Oh, Stella's joining today. She's going to help me draw this. Say hi, Stella. Meow. Who's a good girl? Yes, you are. Um, this is, by the way, she is my official art helper. I don't know what she's sniffing at right now, but Stella, say hi. Who's a good girl? Yes, you are. Should probably change the name of this show to Cats and Tats. Just a thought. Maybe I will. Who knows? Oh, you coming over? Coming over to say hi? Yes, you are. Say hi, baby. Hi. So, where was I? Yes. Here. Let's see if I can do this with a cat on my lap. No one make any loud noises, please. Could be disastrous. And I forgot to do drawing assist on this. So, but I've always been a big fan of like ornamental frames. Lately, I've been trying to simplify some of my ornamental frames, just get a little bit more simplistic with it. I find that if you look at a lot of like old school lanterns, they tend to have really nice shapes, like these little bell shapes. Um, if I really wanted to do something a little bit more tapered, I'd probably bring this down a little bit more straight and then swing it out. Just something to give it like a unique or a different kind of feeling. Um, I used to draw a lot of Namori style designs those are known as like Japanese tags. They're ornamental tags, uh, and those are great for creating little one-shot designs, especially if you go outside of them, draw like some kind of out-of-bounds stuff. Those always tend to do pretty well at tattoo conventions because you can draw simple, small tattoos, and that way you can stay within whatever someone's budget is. But you can also offer larger, more elaborate ones at tattoo conventions. So if someone wants to get a bigger piece and they've got a little bit more money to spend, cool, great. Oh yeah, let's do it. Otherwise, I usually try to steer them to something a little bit more simplistic. Maybe something not quite as elaborate, and that can typically go through and fit their budget a little bit better. This is a little trick that I use, by the way, whenever I'm drawing this kind of stuff. This is the Studio Pen and Procreate, and I've got it set up with some pretty decent stabilizing, and I like to pump the size up, and it's pressure sensitive, so I can go through and kind of um, really play with like my line weight and thickness. And this kind of helps get me a better idea of what this could look like. Maybe I don't want to go that crazy with how big everything is. Maybe I'll just bring this down a little bit. From here, we've got a couple of different options. We can very easily just kind of bring it down and in. Once again, I kind of like more of like a lantern shape. Maybe I'll just go with like a rounded shape. That tends to look pretty nice too. And the reason why I like to draw in these kinds of shapes is because they fit well almost anywhere on the body, right? For example, you could have, if I was drawing on someone and maybe I wanted this to be a half sleeve, right? Well, I could have my deltoid here, right? Bicep coming down, here would be my tricep, and then this would fit pretty well, in that kind of an area. have a couple of little gaps, but I could always add like some leaves coming out from here or coming over here. So you can always add to it, but it's that typical kind of shape that I find really just kind of accents things, really helps the body fit a little bit better. So now that I've got that, I'd probably shrink this a bit, even though this is 3x5. I know I'm going to want to go out of bounds, outside of this boundary that I've created for myself a little bit for my next sketch. Maybe I want to do like a flower, right? A chrysanthemum. Chrysanthemums are kind of one of my go-tos just because I like the way they flow. But we could also do like some leaves. If I wanted to do like leaf filler here. Could draw like a leaf there, maybe another one coming up this direction. And I can always stem this out from this frame that I've created, so I know that I can stick within the area of this design. Right? And it gives me just like a little visual area to work within. Sometimes people can be more creative if they're given boundaries within which to work, because then they know the basic constraints of, what it is they're working with. Maybe from there, I could always draw another little, leaf configuration down here. So it just kind of gives you a nice little starting point. To work with. Typically speaking, if I was going to do something like this down at the bottom, I would actually probably, let's see how this works. What if I just took something from here? Because I can always create a little kind of thing here, maybe another leaf or so. Just kind of like keeping it super loose, not really worrying about anything, because I'll probably end up going through and changing stuff later on. But I still try to keep my frame available, right? I just think it lends itself to a much nicer way to go through and just keep things moving. Maybe inside of this, I want to do. I could probably do like a rose, or I could do. What if we did like a little crescent moon at the top? Crescent moons apparently and like witchy stuff are pretty common and pretty in. Maybe I want to do something like a crescent moon. This is where thumbnailing can really help you define an idea. Thumbnailing is great. I do it quite a bit. Sometimes I'll do as many as 40 or 50 different thumbnails for one small design just to play around with ideas. Maybe I want to do something more like a cherry blossom, right? This is one of the quick and dirty ways to draw a cherry blossom, by the way. Start out with like your little like standard star that everyone learns how to draw in elementary school, right? This will give you your 5 petals. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, granted, you'll have to adjust the proportions a little bit, but it's a very quick and easy way to draw like a little 5-petal flower. Could be any flower, could be wildflower. And I'll show you another little trick too. I'll hide that layer. So this layer is not or anything like that because I'm just going to use this as a quick demo. Say you draw a quick star, right? I can almost guarantee you that no two stars that you draw will ever be the same. Okay? Unless you really take your time to do it. However, this works to your advantage. Anywhere where you have longer arms on these little quick stars, you can use that as a perspective tool because now I can go through and I can draw a little oval here. That'll be the center of my flower, right? As these arms get shorter, it's that petal moving further away. As they get bigger, that's that petal moving closer towards me and creating a dynamic perspective each time. And since we know each star that you draw is going to be a little bit different, it's going to help you keep these flowers that you draw different and unique every single time, right? It's just a different way of looking at the same thing because now this flower looks like it's coming at you a little bit more as opposed to being just a perfectly flat, straight on, straight down kind of perspective. So it's just a real quick and easy way to kind of make things look a little bit different. You know, if I was going to keep this to a blossom, I could very easily just draw like some little notches here and here. And then I could add some like petal foldovers if I wanted to. You know, I could go through, keep these points there. Maybe this one I'll just kind of keep rounded out. Definitely more of a traditional cherry blossom than anything else. You know, so it's a real quick and easy way to kind of draw a flower at a perspective. Same thing would happen here. Center of my flower. These would be coming closer towards you. These would be moving further away. Because as we know, with the rule of foreshortening, things that move further away from you get smaller. You know, so it's a way to go through and keep everything different and unique and at a perspective. So just a little drawing hack for you there. So, you know, I could do maybe a large cherry blossom at the top. Once again, I would keep my center. And then I can go through and just add some like little leaves coming out from each side if I wanted to keep it more symmetrical. You know, maybe I could do another cherry blossom down here at the bottom, or I could do some like little petals that are falling. You know, maybe I would have one there, one petal falling here. So just different ways that you can, you know, just kind of mock things up and sketch things up. So maybe that's an idea. And I won't ever go through if I like an idea and I'm spitballing and I'm thumbnailing, but I know I want to stick with the style frame. I won't delete that layer. I'll just hide it, right? Because I'm only drawing on a canvas in Procreate that's 3x5. So I've got tons of layers that I can use and draw with. Maybe the next layer I want to draw like a little Japanese wave or something like that, right? I could have, basically a crashing wave coming through. This is a little too linear for what I normally do, but, you know, you get the gist. So maybe I'll keep this as a layer and I'll develop this. And next thing you know, you spitball a few images and you can go through and you can create 10 different designs all through this one basic frame shape that you created, right? So now you have options. You have different ideas and you can go through and you can say, okay, well, if this is the frame that I have going on and I really like the way this frame looks, I can use that to create an entire scene, and I can do that multiple times within the same frame. And now I've got 5 different designs that all have the same basic frame shape. I can go through, develop some designs within. And now each design can be unique. And now I've got a series of 5 designs in this frame I can bring with me to a tattoo convention and potentially sell each one of them. There you go. There's money in your pocket, right? And you can do that with every frame shape you can imagine. If it's a diamond shape, if it's, maybe it's a pentagon or an octagon or a hexagram or whatever. Try to stay away from anything with too many sides, though, like dodecahedrons and decagons. Those just end up looking like circles over time. So, just word of advice there. Um, don't be afraid to go outside the bounds. Okay, you can get down now. Don't be afraid to go outside the bounds either. If you're sketching something up and you've got a frame, don't think that you have to stick inside the frame. If I'm going through and I'm drawing like a crashing wave, I'm going to have, maybe a couple of pieces that come outside of the boundaries. This makes it more visually interesting, right? If you create a frame and you're drawing something and you end up moving outside of the bounds of the frame, visually speaking, it becomes far more visually interesting, and people will typically, not always, but typically, tend to be more attracted to it because it's going to be different. You're moving, it catches the eye and it moves the eye outside of what they think the container is, right? When you move someone's eye outside of a container, outside of a preconceived limit, right, which is essentially what a frame is, then you can kind of go through and say, oh, yeah, that, it's something a little different. But it also automatically creates a sense of depth and perspective. Because if you have this side cut off and this side is a hard border, and then this side is coming over top, it helps you put this background space in perspective because that means that this is starting out from behind here and moving in front of here, right? So that's moving forward in your depth, in your field of depth. It's a great way to go through and use that little trick to create a sense of depth, even if you have a very flat image. Okay, I don't care if you're drawing a Sailor Jerry swallow. If you put that inside of a frame and you have one side cut off with the edge of the frame, the other side going over the other side of the frame, it's going to look like it's moving through space. Even with a design that is that flat and that non-dimensional, it will still give the illusion of moving through space. Some food for thought. And you can do that with any number of different elements. If I was going to draw chrysanthemum, which I know I draw a lot of, I'd probably keep the bulb and the bud of the mum maybe up here in the corner. My center line. Draw the top edge of my first layer. Maybe I'll have the next layer a little closer because I'm working within a frame constraint. And now I would have maybe one or two, kind of coming up over the top. Maybe one or two obscuring a view. And then I could have a couple down here, a couple bigger guys down here, maybe another bigger one that's a little bit more at an angle, another one to kind of move your eye down and around. I'd bring this one out, up, over to kind of show that there's a depth difference. Maybe bring another guy down here, and then one over this direction, just to kind of break things up a little bit, because spider mums typically have petals that move in all different types of directions. You may even have like another little guy back here that's kind of crossing the visual plane a little bit more. But it's a great way to go through and conceptualize, what it could look like. Maybe I'd have like just a peak of one more coming out from down here. But the rest of it wouldn't be seen. All you would see is just a tiny little bit of it. Right? That could go through and be very visually interesting. Maybe you even have one back over in here. Hold on one second. Yeah. Scratching up my stuff? I don't think so, Missy. So these are just some different ways to go about doing it. Maybe I should draw a paw. With like some sharp claws. The bottom line is you never know what people are looking for at a convention. You don't. Maybe you draw a whole bunch of bird designs because you think birds are in, right? And you get to a show and no one wants any of the bird designs that you drew up, but maybe a rabbit's foot design that you drew up 6 years ago, 8 people ask about that one. You never know. So that's why it's always nice to have different types of designs available, different categories, different different subject matter, because you don't know what your clientele is going to be looking for. I made that mistake last year. I had this idea to draw up some chess pieces, and I actually I never got around to it because I didn't think anyone would want anything like that. And I had a guy come up to me at the show and actually ask me if I had any chess piece tattoos designed and ready. And it was like, man, missed out on that. So maybe I'll do like a small little chess piece series. I'll do king, queen, bishop, knight, and rook. Because no one wants a pawn tattoo. That's just, man. Well, maybe someone out there does. Who knows? I know if I was going to get a chess tattoo, I would never want a pawn. I would want like a knight or a rook, or a bishop, something that had a little bit more power than just, a pawn. Pawns can be useful, don't get me wrong, especially when you're playing chess with people that really know what they're doing. Every piece matters. But if you're looking at the symbolism behind each piece, definitely not a piece I would personally go for. I do enjoy playing a very wonderful game of chess. It's just intellectually and mentally stimulating. Maybe I'd draw something like this. I could have like another piece or two that just kind of like connect in the middle. This way I don't have to draw a center portion. And especially for smaller designs, three by fives, and I typically I won't do anything a whole lot smaller than like 2.5 by 4, just because it typically aren't even really worth my time to do. Not for what I would have to charge someone, especially at a convention. People wouldn't want to pay what I would have to charge in order to do a tattoo that small. Um, so I typically try to keep them a decent size. Not because I'm trying to get more money out of people, but because it's time is money. Once again, food for thought. This is just my 2 cents on things and some of my strategies. I've worked at a lot of tattoo conventions. I've made a lot of mistakes at tattoo conventions. A lot of them. From overpacking to underpacking to forgetting convention banners and forgetting business cards. And, I've made every mistake you can probably imagine working at a convention. And I try not to repeat my mistakes. I try to learn from them as best I can, obviously. Um, at every convention I work, I learn something new. Um, so for me, this is just some food for thought, some advice that, maybe I can pass along and someone can find helpful somewhere. Um, Hopefully this helps out, you know, someone. But I love working at conventions. I love working at shows because it's camaraderie, right? This is my tribe of people. This is my community of people that I know I get along with, that I can relate to, that have the same issues that I have the same challenges I face, that have the same joys that I have. This is my people, you know. And not everyone understands that, especially people, and I hate to say this, but that work in office jobs. Um, Typically speaking, they have very different set of parameters for what they enjoy, what they do, what they like. You know, but when you're one of 1,000 people that do what you do, are you really going to experience the same challenges? Not if you're that easily replaceable, if you're just doing like, menial stuff. Then again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love for someone to prove me wrong in that, but um, this is my people. These are my colleagues. These are the people that know the amount of work and passion that I have for this career. Some people won't get that. Some people won't ever understand that either. Even other tattooers. I've met plenty of tattoo artists in my life that don't understand the convention aspect. They're like, why would I go and work in another state when I don't have clients there when I've got clients here? And it's like, well, you don't have to. This is how I connect with my people. This is how I get to go through and understand and learn from other community members that maybe I don't have the opportunity to talk to regularly. So I'm going to capitalize on that and take advantage of that. Maybe a bit too busy down here, so I'll probably go through and simplify that, but at least I've got, one concept down. And as I mentioned before, even if I did something like that was super easy, I could come over here and say, okay, cool. Even sticking with the concept of the frame, I could very easily come over here, draw some leaves. Um, just kind of like coming down on the outside. Maybe like throw another little shadow part of the leaf back here. So it's a good way to brainstorm. Keep everything small, keep everything simple. Don't try to overcomplicate things. Keep keep in mind, and this is why I always like to sit near a ruler, even at the studio if I'm sketching. 3D chess would be cool. Don't know how to play 3D chess. I only play 2D chess, and I find that to be hard enough. Trying to think 10 moves ahead in 2D chess is tricky for anyone. So thinking in 3 dimensions is just too much. Too much for my simple human brain. Um, but, I could even add some leaves here, maybe like another one coming down here or something like that. Kind of balance it out a little bit if I wanted to add some leaves in there. But now at least I've got a way and a direction and a frame within which to work. And that's ideally why I enjoy drawing instead of frames, especially for quick little one-shot designs. Can really be helpful, can really be useful. It can really help you just pump stuff out super quickly, especially if it's 2 weeks before you have a show and you have no idea what you want to draw and you have no idea what's going on with your designs and whatever. Um, you know, create 5 tiny little 3x5 designs, get them printed out, put them up for sale. Even if you just finish the line work on them, put the line work out. With like a little piece of masking tape underneath that says black and gray or color, you pick, right? Same price, the whole 9. Even though if I put a price on a tattoo, like a set standard price on a tattoo at a convention, I am always going to put down, number one, a higher quote than what I think I should sell it for. Number two, I will always give a price for a full color rendering of that design. Because if they want a black and gray version of it, I know it's not going to take me as long. So at least that way I can discount the price. You can never increase a price, right? You can always discount it if it's too high, but you can never increase it if it's too low, right? Because now that's false advertising. Now people are going to get angry at you for telling them one price and charging them a different price that's more than what you had originally said to them. Now they're going to get angry. Next thing you know, they're going to come back with a baseball bat. Things are going to get real. Okay. So keep that in mind. You can always discount things, but you can never go through and raise the price. The price is what you say it is. So stay high, quote it high, and then discount it after the fact. People love that too because they feel like they're in a deal. Just a little strategy, right? And if the tattoo takes you longer than you think, well, that's okay because you already gave them a price that's higher than what you wanted to get for that piece. So you're already compensated for it. So, food for thought, convention strategies. We'll call this convention strategies episode 1, I guess. Um, hope you guys learned something here today. If not, that's cool. Next week I will actually be off. I have a family vacation that I will be going on with some cousins of mine from Japan and Hawaii. So hopefully I get to learn a lot more about what's going on in their lives next week. So I will not see you next week, but I will see you the week after that for episode 189 in 2 weeks. So I hope you guys learned something today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you have a great day. Take care. Keep those hands busy. I will see everyone in